Today, we're going to be diving into the deep abyss of the ocean to discuss a sea monster that over time has demolished entire ships while consuming whole crews of sailors. It's said to have a taste for human flesh.
All right. What's up, everybody? And thank you for joining the Kraken Cans podcast. This is going to be a podcast where two good friends, we're going to talk about urban legends, monsters, and we're going to have a couple good brews along the way. So I'm one half of your host. My name's Mike. This is my good buddy, Corey. And Corey, what's going on, dude?
Not much, man. I know we've been planning this podcast now for probably going on the last month.
Oh, we have, yeah.
And I mean, it's been a journey. I mean, every time we talk about it, we find like, 5 other things that we didn't plan for.
Yeah.
So.
And I think this is our maiden voyage. Like, this is the first time we kind of sat here, some cameras in front,
put it all together.
Yeah. So we're really excited to see what kind of product we're able to put out here today. So if you guys want to get a little flow of the episodes, Corey, what can people expect?
Yeah. So I mean, I don't really want to give too many spoilers, but I mean, episode 1 obviously is the Kraken. We have a couple other ones coming up about the Mothman, the Hat Man, and some other goodies.
Maybe a little Bell Witch action.
A little Bell Witch, maybe a little Bloody Mary. So I mean, we're gonna be going over urban legends, going over paranormal entities. I mean, going over pretty much anything that we find interesting and anything that's weird. And
yeah, there's definitely been just even like starting to really dive into some of this stuff. There's some spooky stuff out there, man. Like,
yeah.
I know I opened up to you. I started getting into one, and it was like I had to stop. I had to turn that stuff off. That was freaking me out too much.
Yeah, we don't want to be manifesting any bad juju.
No. So for really our maiden voyage here, it's perfect that we're going to be talking about the Kraken. And kind of our beer choice today is the Triple Cannon from Heavy Seas Beers. If you're able to see this on the video, it's a pretty freaking badass can. I think the reason we chose this one is, I mean, really just boils down to just that crazy, awesome-looking Kraken on the front of the can.
Yeah.
And that is just...
And I mean, I know you'll probably touch on it, but it's 12% alcohol.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Kraken is an enormous being that, I mean, it fits 12% alcohol, Kraken.
Yeah, there's a 85% chance that I just take my shirt off at some point in this podcast if I finish this 12%er. It's going to get wild. It's going to be awesome. Talking like a pirate. So we'll dive into a little bit of the background on the brewery. It was really neat. I copied and pasted this right off their site, but it kind of all started in 1980 when Hugh Sisson, a Maryland native, a theater grad, and all-around good guy, joins the family restaurant and bar, Seasons. Craft beer wasn't even on the radar back then, but Hughes quickly realized that to run a business, you need to do something to be different. Light bulb moment, what if we turned Seasons into a brew pub and brewed our own beer? Solid plan, right? Problem? Brew pubs weren't legal in Maryland at this time. So in 1985, Hugh worked with Maryland legislators, drafted a bill to legalize brew pubs in Baltimore. The bill passed on its first attempt, and you fast forward to 1989, Seasons becomes the first brew pub. That's a tough one. All right.
Did you even drink the beer yet?
No,
you just smelled it, and you're fumbling your words.
Seasons becomes the first brew pub in the state of Maryland. After the brew pub scene for a few years, Hugh felt a need for a bigger stage, theater pun intended, and in 94 he left Seasons for his next business venture, and the rest, friends, is nothing short of Maryland craft beer history. So, like I opened up, this beer is Triple Cannon. That's triple. That's not a single IPA.
Triple.
It's not a double IPA.
Three beers.
Yeah. It really is like 3 beers. This is a 12%er coming at you. So there's a good chance we'll be talking like pirates at some point during this podcast when we slam this in. So, let's test this bad boy. Cheers.
Cheers to the Kraken.
So I feel like kind of first sip, you get that strongness without actually getting that strongness. Like it, I would not. I guess that this is. You can tell this is a higher octane beer. But I don't know if I would say 12% when you first take a sip. Kind of get it a little bit.
You can taste the alcohol right when you take that first sip, but then it kind of dwindles.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's scary good.
Yeah, this is not the way you want to start.
You drink a 4-pack of that.
Yeah, 4-pack. Like one.
Yeah,
one.
You're done.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty good. That's a tough one to start with because it's
gonna be hard to beat.
Freaking delicious. So on to that, buddy. Let's hear some Kraken.
The word Kraken comes from the Norwegian word krake, meaning malformed, crooked tree, or overgrown. In German, the word Kraken means octopus, which I find pretty interesting.
Yeah, they took the more direct approach, I would say, there.
Octopus.
Yeah.
As you guys will find out later, there is a big debate whether the Kraken is actually an octopus or whether it's a squid.
Yeah, it's a squid.
It's definitely an octopus.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the first recorded sighting of the Kraken dates back to 1180 by King Sverre of Norway. And the Kraken has been found in the seas surrounding Norway, Iceland, and Greenland. So I did a little research just kind of looking at the oceans and seas around those areas, and it looks like the Norwegian Sea is the biggest body of water that kind of connects all of those countries. And my research, I couldn't really find any other like locations around the world where the Kraken has been spotted or seen. So it's pretty much right there in that area from what I've found.
You would think in that area is kind of cooler water up in there. I don't know if that would have anything to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
So I started looking into the Norwegian Sea a little bit, and I found out that the deepest part of the Norwegian Sea is around 13,000 feet deep, which, I mean, that's pretty deep. And then I did a little research just looking at some of the other bodies of water, some of the other oceans just around, just kind of comparing, I guess, depths. And the Challenger Deep in the Pacific Ocean is 36,000 feet deep. So 13,000, 30, like, I mean, they're big numbers, but like to put it into perspective, I mean, 36,000 feet, like, I think there's something down there. I mean, I'm going to mention it later, but only 5% of oceans have been really explored. So, there's 95% that, I mean, we haven't even touched on yet, which just blows my mind.
And did you send me something about NASA, like, started to kind of do research in the ocean and then backed out and started going to space?
Space.
There's got to be some reason why, right?
Yeah, I mean, why stop?
Yeah.
With something you saw made you stop. It's my first thought. But so yeah, I was doing a little more research just about the oceans, just depths, and the Titanic is in the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, right around 1,200 feet deep. So that's almost as deep as the deepest part of the Norwegian Sea, which is around 1,300 feet deep. And then I just did a little thinking, just putting, falling down the rabbit hole. Titan submersible, which, imploded. I think it was last year, actually. I thought it was like 2 years ago, but it was last year.
That's what happens when we start getting old, I think.
Yeah.
Just time is just gone.
It's just gone. So I started just doing a little research and just started thinking, like, what if it was the Kraken? What if the Kraken grabbed that thing like a freaking soda can, squeezed it, and caused it to implode?
It'd almost be like it was cracking cans, per se.
Yeah.
Oh, see what I did there?
Yeah.
You like that?
So, yeah, I mean, could have been, and, they just don't want us to know. But I think it might have been the Kraken.
You're trying to say the man is just keeping the Kraken down.
Yeah.
He's trying to sweep it all under the rug, man.
Yep, all under. So as far as the size for the Kraken, I mean, I saw many different reports. People said anywhere from 50 feet to 100 feet to ridiculous, but 1 mile to 1.5 miles long are some reports of the Kraken that I researched.
So how many Kraken till he can get to the moon?
I don't know.
And that is where the 12%er starts kicking in right there, folks. Anyways, Corey, back to you.
So anyway, to put that into perspective for some of you small-minded people, a mile to a mile and a half is approximately 17 and a half to 26 football fields. Can you imagine a octopus, squid, sea monster that freaking big?
How many football fields?
17 and
17
a half
and
to
a
26.
half. Start measuring them in football fields, I guess.
I guess.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Puts it more into perspective. Now, how many football fields to the moon? Yeah, sorry.
We're going to have to hire
Yeah.
somebody to look up all that
This
stuff.
is it.
Maybe episode 100, maybe we'll hire somebody.
Yeah, there we go.
And then the other thing I saw was that some people would mistake the Kraken for an island. So some of these sailors would, fall off their boat or whatever would happen, and they would start swimming to what they thought it was an island, and it ended up being a Kraken.
Yeah, could you imagine? Like, your day's not bad enough that you fell off this boat. And now it's like, oh, thank goodness there's an island right there.
There's land.
You just go over to a Kraken. He just rips all your arms off, rips your legs off.
Yeah,
that's not good.
As far as food, the Kraken would pretty much eat anything that, it could get its slimy tentacles, arms on. Anything from fish to crabs to any other shell-like creatures. It would use its beak to crack pretty much anything open, smash through it, and of course it loved loads of semen. That was that was its favorite.
There it is. Finally.
Loads.
Yeah. How far? We're getting pretty far in, and you finally dropped the first semen.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's all downhill from here, folks.
And I think it also liked sperm whales too, but that's another topic.
Oh.
So we just covered the background information. Now let's go over some of the narrative and the legend of this beast. So there were very limited signs of when this thing was going to attack because it was so quick, quiet. There really wasn't any signs. I guess the biggest sign that the sailors would notice when there was a Kraken coming, they would notice large amounts of fish, sometimes jellyfish, and I mean just like enormous amounts just swimming around at the surface of the ocean. Sometimes bad weather, huge waves would be another sign that there was a Kraken coming. And they really had two main tactics when they were going to attack. The first one, they would use their ginormous arms, wrap them around the boat, and just demolish it with a squeeze.
Of course.
Yep.
Plain and simple. And probably the best way to go, I think, if they're going to get you.
Just squeeze you.
Yeah, it might just be squeeze quick. You probably pop you like a pimple. And
just a quick tug.
Yeah. There goes your head out into the ocean.
Yep. So they would do a quick tug, and they would just destroy your boat and you and everything else
quick tug,
on board.
Quick tug, and there's a bunch of semen,
Yeah.
It's your typical everyday sailor life, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Navy too, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
But so if that tactic didn't work for the Kraken, they would use tactic 2, which I think is pretty badass. They would start swimming around the ships as fast as they could, just creating a whirlpool that would either capsize or pull the ship underwater, and then they would eat the sailors.
Yeah, that sucks.
So I mean, I don't know which tactic I like better. I mean, I think the whirlpool one obviously is more like sophisticated, more intelligent to do that.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, there's some thought goes into that.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said about just the sheer strength of just wrapping around the boat and just crushing it.
Snapping it like a pencil.
So you said about a lot of times the weather would change when the Kraken comes. Do you think there's something to that? Like, do you think the Kraken follows the weather? Or do you think if maybe there's something more to it? Something maybe, it's just more.
It's more in tune with, like, the tides and just everything, maybe. I don't know.
It's just that it follows that. Better way to eat, better way to kind of do its hunting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So, I mean, obviously, being a sailor back then, you were absolutely terrified to sail across the ocean, hearing about this beast who was out there just lurking, waiting to feast on ships, sailors, seamen, anything out there.
Yeah, there's probably flat earthers, too.
Probably.
And we still have some of them around. And life is not easy for a flat earther.
No.
Mainly because you're just totally ignorant. It's a whole other story.
Yeah, we'll add that to the list.
Yeah.
Flat Earthers, we'll add that to the list.
Yeah.
And another thing, too, that I saw was that the Kraken was one of the biggest excuses, reasons, justifications why people didn't return from their voyages. So, somebody goes out for their voyage, sailing across the sea, whatever, they don't come back. Oh, Kraken got them.
Yeah.
It was the Kraken.
I feel like it's just somebody that does not want to do their job. It's like, I should probably go investigate this, but,
the Kraken.
Soaps are starting here in a little bit, and we'll just blame it on the Kraken, Keep it simple.
Daddy didn't come home with the milk. Kraken got him.
Kraken got him. Yeah, that's the third daddy this month. Those poor Norwegians.
I saw some stories that the Kraken would travel together, so I couldn't imagine seeing one Kraken, let alone several traveling together. Like, that's some craziness.
Yeah, if you get a bunch of them you figure Kraken's got to eat. Like, that dude's got to eat a lot.
Yeah.
So you get a bunch of them together.
Like, eating a sailor is like us eating a French fry.
Yeah. I love French fries.
Or even a Tic Tac, depending on what size
True.
Kraken you run across.
Yeah. Those mile-long ones, whew, you got to watch out for them.
Yeah. Some of these crazy Norwegians would actually use the Kraken to help them. So when they would see all these fish coming to the surface, they would go and, try to catch them, try to catch all the fish they can to support, their families, which is crazy. So they would look for Kraken because they knew that they would bring these fish up, and then they would go fishing.
It's kind of it's like selling your soul to the devil, It's
yeah.
Like you're going to go out here, and I don't know what Kraken's success rates on their end are, but
probably pretty high.
I figure they're pretty high, for you just to go out there. And so now you're going to go out there and not only fish next to them, but essentially you're taking their food source away from them. So you're just pissing them off while you're out there. Yeah, it's just Norwegians, man. You got to watch them.
They're nuts.
To
me, the Kraken pretty much symbolizes the great unknown and fear of the oceans, sailing, not knowing what lurks beneath you. And like I said earlier, you're in bodies of water that's 13,000 feet deep.
Yeah.
Like, who the heck knows what's down there? I worry when I'm out in the lakes fishing and stuff that are, 100 feet deep. I'm like, man, what's down there?
Yeah.
Couldn't imagine being in the ocean wondering what's 13,000 feet down.
And later on in this, later episode, you will find out what's down there in the lakes. Just saying. Spoiler alert. He's down there, man. But no, yeah, I think it kind of goes. I made the joke about the flat earthers earlier, but you're looking, back then, these people literally didn't know what the ocean was. Like now we kind of have a general idea of, you sail so far this way, you hit land here, you hit land. Like these people had no clue at this point. So the ocean really was just a totally great mystery to them back then. You kind of touched upon it. It really still is now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I wouldn't want to be stuck out there.
Hell no. With Wilson. My volleyball. Wilson.
So, you guys, there's always been stories of sea monsters for as long as people have been sailing. As long as people have been on the ocean, there's always been stories of sea monsters. The Kraken goes back, 800 years, whatever, 900 years, whatever it is. I'm not doing the math. I think that was when the Kraken was kind of established, or the name was given, the Kraken. But, I think the Kraken's been around much longer than that. And, it's hard to tell, though, because most sea monsters dating back to, forever, have many similarities with each other. And the Kraken, there's been different versions of the Kraken over time. So there's been, obviously, the most popular version that is on our logo, and the one that we're talking about today that looks like a squid or an octopus. But there's other variations where it's almost like a gigantic crab-like creature with giant armored shells.
Yeah, because just being a couple 100 foot tall isn't enough.
Yeah.
What do you need armor for?
Exactly.
What is your predator?
Exactly. There were some other versions where they were almost like gigantic whales type of creatures. Some versions had bright red eyes with horns and hair like feathers, making beards on their faces. I mean, there's been many variations of the Kraken.
Yeah, I think we got, Moby Dick. If you kind of go by that story, you go by some of these definitions and legend. I guess Moby Dick could be considered a Kraken maybe back in the day. I don't know. Seems like it's kind of a loose term given. And I'm
Dick.
sure maybe it's Dick. That's the real thing.
He was definitely a shower.
Yeah. He was a grower too, let me tell you. No, but I think maybe culturally, maybe the Kraken is a term that's used, and it could be different in different areas. I don't know. Maybe in the Hawaiian Islands, the crab is the Kraken.
Yeah. That's true.
I think that'd be interesting perspective, I guess.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, a little bit of a debate whether the Kraken is an octopus or whether it's a squid. And I mean, I could see it being either or. So a squid and an octopus are both cephalopods. Cephalopods. You just whichever one of them sounds better, just keep that one in.
That's cool.
Which means head-footed. They have no real feet, and their head is their most important feature. And while they look very similar, are actually very different creatures. Squids like to live in the open ocean, while octopuses live in the seabed. Giant squids, which I'm going to go into the difference in size between the colossal squid, which is the giant squid, and I forget the name of the octopus. I think it's Pacific octopus or something. It's like the biggest octopus there is. So you can kind of see the two difference in the biggest of each. Like I said, squids like to live in the open ocean while octopuses live in the seabed. Giant squids live in the deep, deep ocean. And most of the time when we see the giant squids, it's because they died and floated to the top and ended up on the shore. Most of the time when we see the giant squids. I know there's some videos, I think, out there, some pictures of them, but there's not many. It's pretty far in between.
Yeah, it's probably for the best. I don't need to be going to the beach on vacation and be like, oh, there's just a giant squid out there, 80 foot long, just hanging out.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Luckily for me, I'm not a seaman.
You're not.
Not yet, at least. I was a long time ago.
Swimming around.
Yeah. Till I found me mate.
So squids, they release a jet black ink when feeling threatened as a way to escape. And I did find out that they can actually control how much of it they leave out at a time. But they only have like a limited supply, so they kind of got to do little pre-ejaculations of this ink before they release it all, and then it has to recharge.
Sounds so familiar.
So
familiar.
So yeah.
So did you ever see, all right, I'm kind of taking us off topic here a little bit, but I think it's worth it. Did you ever see over in, I guess it's like Japan, when people eat squid? And so you got to be very careful with it because it has the ink in it. And there's like clips of like just people like out to eat. Their face is just covered in this black ink, and it does not come off.
Yeah,
like it is not something that you just take your napkin and wipe it off. Like they got black face going over there from this. Their hands are black. It's crazy.
It's permanent.
Yeah, like it's really like it is ink. It is no joke.
So they use that when they're feeling threatened as a way to escape. While octopuses, they don't have the ink feature, but they utilize a camouflage that squids also have as well.
Yep. So
to blend in their surroundings.
So what he's saying is,
I got some more facts here about octopuses.
Anything octopuses can do, squids can do better. Right. Is what he's saying.
You just hold on.
All right.
Hold on there.
Here we go.
Seaman.
See.
And they use the camouflage to either attack prey or to hide, so that they don't get attacked. So they can use it either way. I also found out too that octopuses, not only do they have camouflage, they can control like their muscles in their body and move them around so that they can actually change the texture of their body. So they could look like rocks and seaweed and like other types of things that are at the bottom of the ocean.
So they could be all veiny if they want to.
Yeah, they could be big and veiny, small and veiny. I mean, whatever they want to be.
Medium and veiny.
Medium.
Average, as some people like to call it, and veiny.
Yeah. So
the main thing is they can be veiny.
They can. So octopuses have 8 arms with suckers on them. Squids don't have the little suckers on them.
So what are the suckers for? Just walking around?
So octopuses with their they can walk around with them. They can pick up things.
Okay.
They they can do a lot of different things with those suckers.
They're just for grasp, essentially.
For grasp, really, yeah. And they can kind of turn it on and off too if they want to use it, if they don't want to use it.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool. And actually, octopuses, they have I forget the exact number. Son of a baconator. 9 brains. They have 1 brain like between their eyes and their head, and then they have a smaller brain in each arm.
They have a small brain in every arm.
Yeah. So they can have control over every arm and like do something different with each one.
So what happens when these arm brains decide that they're sick of listening to the main brain?
Yeah.
Just octopus is just choking themselves out
choking
everywhere.
Itself. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Did not
Dude, that's
know
wild.
That. Yeah.
I mean, I was looking at just some different octopus stories, and there were some good ones about octopuses in different aquariums, like around the world.
Yeah.
Just doing crazy shit. Like this one octopus, I guess they memorize people's like faces and stuff too, and like they can recognize people. So there was this one octopus in this aquarium. I forget where it was located, but basically there was this one female worker who the octopus hated, couldn't stand. And whenever she would walk by, this octopus would shoot water at her.
Just like...
Just shoot water at her.
You know, like, hey, bitch, I see you.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. But, like, when any of the other workers would walk by, like, just chilling, just fine. But
it would just knuckle bump them on the way past.
But whenever this chick would walk by, it would just launch water at her.
I would. Now, all right, so here's the real question. What did she do? Because it's not like this dude just picked, like, for no reason to not like you. What did you do? Yeah. You did something.
Sprinkling something in there that he don't like. I don't know. Maybe eating one of his friends. I don't know. But whatever it was, man, he does not like her.
He does not like her.
No.
Yeah.
And then I saw some other stories where this one octopus, I don't remember if it was like a person's home or aquarium or whatever it was, but this octopus was in its own little aquarium, say over here on the left, and over on the right was another little aquarium set up with like fish and stuff in it. This octopus would climb out of its aquarium, slither across the floor, climb into the fish's aquarium, eat the fish.
Just eat them. Like I ain't gonna lie. I thought that story was going like he'd go over and play with them.
No,
that's not where I saw it going.
He would go over there. He would climb in that other aquarium. He'd eat the fish. Then he'd slither back out, go back over to his, and just back.
Now, I'm sure he thought he was being super sneaky, but I'm sure the trail of water going from one to the other kind of was like the dead giveaway.
Yeah, so, I mean, and then there was 2 other ones, too. The other one I saw was this octopus. I'm trying to think which one I wanted to go over next. I lost track with you pouring the rest of that beer.
Did you see that?
I did.
A little context. I went to pour the beer and just missed the glass, okay?
Yeah.
Probably not going to make the cut, but this is what it is.
So there's this other story of this octopus in an aquarium where I guess the people at the aquarium were leaving for the night or whatever, closing the place down. They forgot to close the lid to the octopus's little aquarium. It was kind of like left open a little bit.
And he just went and ate everybody.
So I guess he broke out of his aquarium. He went down this drain pipe, fell 160 some feet into the ocean, and was free.
And he's out.
He's out. And I found another one where this octopus somehow broke free of, I guess he broke out of his aquarium, I guess like several times. But I guess the last time he broke out of his aquarium, he went down some drain pipe like in the floor, and I guess he stayed there for like 5 days or something. And then I guess whenever the aquarium people like found him, they ended up then releasing him into the ocean because they like realized how bad he wanted out there. Because I mean he escaped how many times?
Deserved it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've seen other ones where the octopus was actually throwing hermit crabs up in the air with its arms and catching them.
Like kind of juggling.
Like juggling hermit crabs. Yeah.
I do that.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
Sitting there juggling hermit crabs, throwing rocks at the. I guess they get bored too. I read that octopuses get bored, so that's when they start throwing, juggling hermit crabs, throwing rocks at their.
Yeah, but if you notice when they get bored, they're dicks.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's what we kind of touched on earlier. It's
dicks.
Like,
we touched dicks.
Yeah. Whoa, nobody's supposed to know about that.
All right,
so,
that's
like
for the dark version or the.
So when they're like crushing ships and stuff like that, and they can't get it, it's like, oh, we're just going to turn on full dick mode and start doing swirlies around, to suck these guys down. They're dicks.
They are dicks. Yeah.
And nobody was touching dicks.
No. That's when the camera's off.
Yes.
But anyway. And then the last thing I saw about octopuses were, I guess, I don't remember where this was, but I guess these octopuses were taking like coconut shells, were taking them underwater, holding them as they're walking around, and they would use them as like temporary like shelters to like hide from things. So they were just carrying this around, and then they would just kind of hold it up and just hide.
Yeah, just like armor.
Armor.
Yeah, shield. Captain America's shield right there.
And they would They can build their own little shelters too underwater. They'll use like shells, rocks, and stuff, and they'll build a whole little shelter like as a house. And then I've even read things where they'll put like a temporary kind of like door.
Listen, my guy went deep diving into the octopus abyss.
Like I'm about to go get an octopus tattoo.
He straight up told me today that he might transition into an octopus.
I might, yes.
And I'm anxious to see how that turns out. I'm rooting for him.
All right, I'm gonna see. We'll see what kind of pills they can give me.
No, these octopus crazy.
Yeah,
that's what I'm.
And they can fit through. They can squeeze through holes like an inch in diameter. They can squeeze themselves through.
How big? How big of an octopus? Doesn't matter the size. Yeah, just like an average size octopus.
Just an average, average size puss.
Damn.
So that's a little bit on the octopus. I didn't really dig too much into the squid, but I just kind of became obsessed with the puss, so that's why I started going over that. But the largest squid ever recorded was 59 feet long.
59 feet long.
Which is like 1.5 school buses.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it weighed nearly a ton.
A ton.
So that's impressive.
That is some crazy.
The largest octopus ever recorded was around 30 feet and 600 pounds.
Yeah,
so,
which is still huge, but we look at it like, oh, that's nothing. A 30-foot long and 600 pounds. I mean, I seen people going around on their jazzies on my 600-pound life.
Yeah.
That is a big fella.
But they weren't 30 feet.
No,
they weren't 30 feet tall.
No, they were like 5.5. It was hard to watch, folks. Hard to watch.
So I mean, if we're comparing the two, I mean the squids get like almost double the size of an octopus, but at least from what I've seen, intelligent wise, I think it goes to the puss.
Yo, squid's got that beak though.
Octopus has a beak too.
I remember watching. So there's this movie. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel. So you can imagine how like good this movie was. It was a 2-parter. It's called The Beast, and it was like they had like the clips of these giant squids just grabbing people, and they finally kill it. But it was only the baby. Dun, dun, dun. The 40-foot long baby. The mom was 100-foot long. It was crazy. But I can always remember that as a kid because they always showed the beak of that squid just like, rah, 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 rah. It freaked me out as a kid.
We're going to talk about the beak when I go over this story here in a little bit of this diver that encountered the beak.
Freaking me out, man.
It might have just been the tip, but I mean, it might have been full beak too. We're going to find out. Baby. All right, so I'm going to go over this real-life story that I found, diver, and some squids that happened back in the early 90s. So according to an article written by Pete Thomas in the New York Times.
Yeah, Pete.
Shout out to Pete. This is a good article, bud. So, on November 27th, 1991, a marine biologist named Alex Kirstich, 46 years old, was working on a documentary with some buddies. And I don't remember if they were trying to film these jumbo squids off the coast of San Diego. They started driving out onto the ocean in their boat. Started getting dark because, I mean, if you're going to make a documentary, if you're going to dive, it's got to be dark, right?
Oh, yeah.
It started getting dark. So the Bert turned on all of its lights. They started chumming the water, and pretty much instantly, as soon as they started throwing the chum in the water, they just got surrounded by these jumbo squids. And whatever type of squid this is, they're like 7-8 feet long, which, I mean, compared to what we were talking to, that's like nothing, but
it's freaking long enough, though.
I mean,
it's bigger than any of us.
Like, thinking of a 7-8 foot anything,
yeah,
like that's pretty big. So their boat just started getting swarmed by these 7-8 foot jumbo squids. Like I said, as soon as they threw that chum in, man, these squid just showed up and just started eating. So anyway, this is supposedly, too, the first time that anybody's documented these jumbo squids, too. And I didn't look that up to see if that's fact-checked or not, but apparently, according to this article, Pete, this is the first time that these squid have been documented. As they were speeding around the boat, Alex reports that it was like strobe lights just going off, just all these colors flashing left and right of all these different colors from these squids just swimming around the boat, and like the light, reflecting off of them. So anyway, at this point, Alex is like, yeah, I'm going to go for a dive. Okay.
Yeah, because that's my first thought.
So Alex,
you crazy son of a bitch.
So Alex jumps into the water because, I mean, why not?
All would. Yeah, we all would.
So he jumps off into the water, goes for a little dive, trying to get some closer pictures of these jumbo squids. He's like 30 feet down, and he's looking up at the boat, and somebody on the boat catches a 12-foot thresher shark with their fishing pole. So they're reeling this freaking 12-foot.
Somebody on the boat caught
somebody on the boat. I guess they're just up there fishing.
Like, what is going on?
Alex is down there swimming, trying to get some pictures of the jumbo shrimp. Shrimp.
And it's like
not shrimp.
Jumbo shrimp. Hey, Popeyes, baby. Our new sponsor.
So he's down there trying to snap some pictures of these jumbo squid.
So, and the guy on the boat's first instinct was, hey, I'm going to grab my fishing pole and see what I can catch right now.
Yeah. So he's up there fishing. He has this 12-foot thresher shark on. Alex is just watching the boat from 30 feet under, just watching the shark just, swimming around.
Yeah, a 12-footer ain't nothing to joke about either,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So anyway, he's looking up, watching the shark. Then all of a sudden, this squid bolts past him towards the boat, towards like the surface of the water where the shark is, swimming around at this point. So Alex then sees this squid just wrap its arms around this shark, this 12-foot shark, and like jams its beak into the side of the shark and just rips out a piece of flesh from the shark. And then like the shark, tries to, swing its fins and stuff. And then instantly the squid swims away. And, the shark's missing a piece of itself.
A chunk
of itself from the squid that just wrapped around it and just freaking in a second
just decided, hey, look at that mother up there just swimming around, having a good old time. Oh, look, he's going to be caught. Let me just go take a bite.
So like within an instant, this squid was up there, beak in shark, chunk gone, squid swam away.
Out. Like before you even know what hit you, that thing just came, took a kidney, and it's gone now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, at this point, Alex is down there just swimming around, trying to take pictures and stuff, looking at all this. And, I mean, I would be scared to death.
Yeah.
Because there's not just one of these squids swimming around. I mean, there's many.
Yeah.
There's many.
But luckily for him, all the people on the boat are just trying to catch sharks. So who cares about
They're out there
Alex
just
down
probably
there?
just stogies in the mouth, just like lounged back.
Probably having them a nice triple IPA. Nobody even cares at this point about freaking Alex down there just trying to live his life, do his job.
So then, I mean, this shit gets wild. So as soon as Alex sees this squid swim up there, take a chunk out of the shark, once that squid swims away, another squid wraps itself around Alex's legs and starts pulling him down deeper and deeper into the ocean. So Alex starts kicking his feet, and then eventually the squid lets loose and swims away. So at this point, Alex is like, man, like, I gotta get out of here. Like this is getting a little real.
That was his sign, not the shark.
Not the shark. It was
the hundreds of squids around him or anything like that have these sharp beaks. That was his sign when they finally decided to try and eat him, that he should get out of there.
So then Alex is like, all right, I should probably get out of here. So he starts swimming to the top. And then another squid, a second squid, attached itself to the back of Alex's neck. And it's a part where his diving suit's not covering. It's just kind of bare skin. It attaches to the back of his neck. He then felt the sharp-toothed suction of the tentacles digging into his flesh.
Gross.
So then he smacks the shit out of this squid with his diving flashlight, trying to get it off of him, which caused the squid to let go and swim away. But the squid took with it Alex's gold necklace that he had on his neck and the diving flashlight. So now Alex lost this gold chain he had on his neck, and he also lost his flashlight.
So there's a squid down there in the ocean that can see everything.
And he's probably
that dude is blinged out while he's doing it.
And he's probably headed to the pawn shop right now to get rid of that gold.
Either that or the Jersey Shore, one of the two.
One of the two.
Ready to rock and roll with old Jay Wow and Snooky, you know what I'm saying? Fist pumping it up on the shore.
So then Alex is like, well, shit, like, I need to get out of here. Like, you know, these squid are just attacking me. So then a freaking third squid, just as he's swimming to the top, a third squid wrapped all 10 of its arms around Alex's, this time his face and his chest. Alex, of course, he became concerned about this squid's beak because, I mean, obviously firsthand he saw what it did to the shark, but he's also a marine biologist, so he understands what these beaks are capable of.
Which is the reason he should have never got in the water to begin with, but apparently he's not that good of a marine biologist.
So as this squid's wrapped around his face and his chest, it began pulling on his mask and his camera. And at this point, Alex is like, oh shit, like this beast is facing me. Like I'm worried about its beak and it, you know, smashing my head in. Alex decided to grab a hold of the squid with his hands and just squeeze it, trying to get it off of him. And at this point, the squid then slid down his body and began dragging him deeper down into the depths of the ocean. Eventually, it let go after taking Alex's decompression meter.
So that dude,
he's losing
jackpot.
everything. He's losing everything. You know, he lost his gold chain. He lost his flashlight.
Those squids are going to be drinking good tonight.
Decompression
meter.
meter.
Pawn shop.
So at this point, man, Alex is like, I gotta get out of here. So then there's no more squid that attack him. He makes it up to the ladder, got onto the boat, and his neck was covered in lesions.
And the first thing the people in the boat said, man, you should have seen this shark we almost caught.
And Alex is like, man, I almost died.
Yeah. Yo, but you should have seen this shark. It was huge and had a bite out of it.
20 feet, man.
Yeah.
It was like 20 feet long.
It was either 20 feet or 3 miles because we know how seamen like to exaggerate slightly.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was
it.
Pretty crazy story.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like Alex is a marine biologist.
He's not no marine.
I'm not sure about his education. That it's just like, hey, I'm just gonna hop in and go hang out. No big deal, you know what I'm saying? I'm one of them there marine biologists. Like, what the hell's wrong with you, dude?
Yeah, what kind of buddies, man, are you hanging around?
Pretty much. You know they're up there smoking Cubans. There ain't no doubt about it.
I mean, probably if you were down there diving, I'd be up there fishing.
And if you were diving, I would definitely be smoking Cubans. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could see it.
Yeah, it all makes it really, the math is there. It adds up.
Yeah.
Boys will be boys.
It was a group project, you know. Somebody's got to carry the weight.
Yeah. Not me.
That was Alex.
So he got drugged deeper and deeper into the abyss.
And hey, if he would have never been found again, guess who would have done it? The Kraken. It would have been the Kraken.
Yes, right back. Had to be.
Alex.
I haven't seen one of them in a while. Had
Kraken
to be.
got him.
So that kind of brings us to the end of the cast, and that our first cast that'll bring us to our first folklore score. So if you're not following us on social media and you haven't really checked out our folklore score, we have 5 main categories that we're kind of going from. It's going to go on a scale of 1 to 10 on each of these. The first is spookiness. The second is historical or cultural significance. The third is believability. The fourth is uniqueness. And the 5 is threat level. So we're going to take all those categories and go to a score 1 to 10. I'm going to give my score. Corey's going to give his score. We're going to add them together, and that's going to be the overall beast score.
The folklore score tier.
There we go.
So we have them broken down into tiers then. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 different tiers going all the way from legendary status down to urban legend abyss. And we'll post this on our social media so that you guys can see how we have it broken down. So then we're going to rank each urban legend that we talk about on our podcasts, and we're going to keep a ranking system of where they rank against each other. And this is just kind of our way of ranking these legends against each other.
Yeah, we hope you guys kind of keep score at home on the folklore, because I think it'd be cool if we were able to do like kind of the audience folklore score, kind of see where it adds up to ours as far as everything goes. So,
yeah. So we filled this out already. We didn't share it with each other, so we wrote it on a little whiteboard.
We did our overall score.
So what do you got? I got 42.
I got 30. Yeah, listen, I'm expecting a little more from you, Kraken. That's what I'm saying. I feel like in every group you're gonna have that guy that is excited. He's going to give out the bigger scores, and then you got the hard ass, and that's me right here.
You're the Simon Cowell.
Yeah, I think it was a really cool thing, but there was a couple categories I thought it was just really lacking on. Like, for me, the spookiness just wasn't there. I don't know why. I'm just not. I guess it's because I'm just going to be smart enough to not go diving down with squids and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not a Norwegian sailor. So for me, that part isn't spooky. What do you got for the spooky?
Spookiness, I put a 9, and I guess I looked at it as if I was out on the water, how would I feel about this thing? And I thought it would be pretty high. I mean, if I'm out in the water, if I'm on a cruise, if I'm wherever, and I'm thinking, man, if a Kraken shows up right now, like, I'm done.
Yeah, and I can see it from that aspect. I just know I'm not a real good swimmer, so you ain't going to catch me out on much water.
Historical, cultural significance. So I gave that a 5. I mean, I probably could have went a little lower. I feel like just based off the research that I did, there wasn't enough out there, enough stories, enough history of the Kraken. I mean, there was some here and there, but there wasn't enough. Maybe I'm a little biased because I researched this topic. So I mean, I gave it a 5, but realistically, I probably could have went lower.
Yeah, I'll be anxious to see how that kind of goes as the cast continues, because we're going to kind of bounce. I'm going to research one episode. You're going to research another. So I'll be anxious to see how the scores reflect when we do the research. So for that one, I gave it a 6, because I thought I think it has a lot of cultural significance, but I just think it's kind of really regional cultural significance. Yeah. And category 3 for believability, I went with a 9. Really, the only thing that made me not go at 10 was maybe some of the sizes, miles long Kraken and stuff. But besides that, I think you could see a giant squid, or just maybe like an abnormally large octopus being a Kraken.
Yeah. And, actually, I thought about this, too. The Norwegian Sea, I said it was like 13,000 feet deep or whatever. If a freaking squid if this Kraken was a mile long, that's like almost half of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Buddy almost touching bottom and watching you up top.
Like
you know what I mean?
He puts his arms out like they're reaching out the top of the water.
Yeah. So, I mean, but as far as, I don't think, as far as believability, it could be an octopus or a squid, and then you kind of dove into some of the different perspectives of it. It could be a giant whale. It could maybe not be a giant crab, but I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I mean, for believability, I put 10, just because, I mean, we know giant squids are real. Yeah. We know giant octopuses are real. So, like, who knows? There could be something even bigger than, the things that have been discovered, just with only exploring 5% of the oceans. So,
yeah, I think 10's a pretty reasonable score for that, as far as that category goes.
And then we got uniqueness. I put 8 as far as uniqueness goes. I know there's a lot of other type of sea monsters out there, but I feel like the Kraken is pretty unique for what it is.
Yeah, uniqueness. I only put a 4. I just I don't know. It's a squid or an octopus. I guess in my brain, I just
You think that's pretty common, like a squid?
Yeah. So I just
didn't.
didn't think that was as unique.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can see where you're coming from too, because it's really comparable to nothing else as far as like legends and stuff like that. And then for a threat level, I gave it an 8 because I think it's a significant danger. But the reason I didn't give it a 10 is because you just keep your butt on land and you're kind of good, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a significant danger if you're out on the sea.
Yeah.
But I'm just not seeing, besides that, I mean, I don't go out on the sea that much, so I'm not really.
Boots on land.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I gave it a 10. I guess I looked at it more as if I'm out on the ocean or whatever, then like.
Yeah, for sure, you're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
So I kind of looked at it like that, but
yeah.
I get where you're coming from too.
Yeah, it's kind of cool when you add the different perspectives into it and everything. So it gave it an overall score of 72, which I think is a pretty solid score. Where's that landed on the?
That lands us in the spine tingler category or tier, which is. This urban legend offers listeners a thrilling experience with their captivating narratives and notable threat levels, while not reaching the highest echelons of danger. These legends still keep audiences on edge with their thrilling scenarios.
Yeah, I think that's pretty on par for what it is.
Yeah,
I would say.
I think so.
You know, it's going to keep you on edge when you're in the situation where the Kraken could be, but sitting here recording. Tonight, I'm not real worried about it.
Yeah.
Unless we get a flash flood.
I don't think anything's popping out of my drain over there.
Yeah. I don't know. You did say that the octopus could live in the drain, so you never know.
For like several days.
Yeah. That homie could be crawling through, but either way, I'm not super. I don't think it's going to be a Kraken.
I mean, I have a creek running right next door here too, but I think we're good.
I'm more worried about, I guess, the occasional trout, mutated trout or something getting through there.
All right, guys, we just finished our first episode, the pilot, the number 1 episode of our hopefully long Kraken Cans cast journey.
Soon to be number 1 podcast journey.
I hope so. It's been, I mean, regardless, I mean, it's been fun. Like, I don't care if we get 1 follower, if we get 10 followers, 1,000. It don't matter. Like, it was fun looking into the Kraken. It was fun writing this stuff up, and it was fun sitting here and just talking about this stuff.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with a lot of the weird stuff, just kind of gathering the equipment to do this. This was all new to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he said, I think it's going to be exciting to just have like if we can just get a tight-knit small community of just people that want to tune in every week and hear 2 freaking goofballs talk about a couple stories. Be excited for it.
So does anyone out there have any experience or thoughts regarding the Kraken? Or maybe we were completely wrong on something that we said. Please correct us. I don't care. I'm not a professional. He's not a professional. We're just doing this for fun. So if there's something we got wrong, please correct us. We can take criticism. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the first podcast, and hopefully we have many more to come.
And that kind of takes us into our next episode.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. So prepare to uncover the eerie enigma of a winged creature that has haunted the skies of West Virginia, striking fear into the hearts of those encountering it. And I think it's one of those things, people, if you know, you know, when I say the skies of West Virginia. Does it foreshadow doom, or is it simply a misunderstood myth? Join us as we delve into sightings, strange occurrences, and chilling lore surrounding this infamous cryptoid. Episode 3. Damn it, we're on episode 2. Dude,
you were nailing it. Then you said episode 3.
Episode 3.
All right.
Episode 2. Dude, that's funny. Why did we maybe say 3?
I don't know.
All right. Episode 2. The Red-Eyed Devil in the Sky. Mothman, which I am pumped about. I am so into Mothman.
I'm excited.
That was like my day one. Like when we talked about
that was your number one pick. That was your number one pick.
What I wanted to do from day one was
Yeah.
Mothman, and I'm just coming out the gate strong.
My number one pick was week 3, coming up here week 3.
Yeah, which is
I just
exciting.
we did the Kraken week 1 just because it's the name of us.
It is, and I think it landed good. I think
Yeah.
it was a good lead in.
I think it's only up from here.
Yeah, for sure.
So please subscribe to our podcast and follow us on our social medias. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It all with we all have it's what's our name?
So those are all under the handle Kraken Cans Cast. That's Kraken with a K, like the Kraken we talked about today. Cans Cast. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope we suckered you guys in for a couple more episodes. So, Corey, you got anything ahead now?
We're both staring into the tablet right now.
We are. It's freaking me out, man.
Yeah.
Freaking me out. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do some more stuff on the social medias coming up. And we're just really excited for you guys to join us. So I'm Mike. I'm out.
This is Corey. We out.
Later.
Peace.